Everybody, this is Winn Hardin with Manufacturing Matters. Thanks for joining us for a live streaming session from PACK EXPO at Chicago's McCormick Place. I'm lucky enough to be here at Schmalz Vacuum Automation, and I'm with Gary Gray, National Sales Manager, and Will Russelo, Applications Engineer, who specializes in packaging. Guys, how's the week been so far?
It's been, well, we got off to a good start yesterday, and today it's been really busy. So we're happy with the show so far.
Fantastic. Gary, will you kick us off a little bit? And for those who don't know, tell us a little bit about Schmalz Vacuum Automation and your roles in there.
All right. Schmalz is a manufacturer of end-of-arm tooling and the components associated to end-of-arm tooling. And we get into a lot of interesting applications, and packaging is just one of them. My role is as National Sales Manager for the Vacuum Automation side, which we have 3 different sales divisions, being material handling, vacuum automation, and vacuum clamping. So I'm over just one of those. And Will is one of our applications engineers because all of our 16 salespeople are supported by applications engineering and product management to be able to make sure that we provide the right solution for the right application.
Awesome. Give us your lowdown, Will.
Yeah, that's right. So to piggyback off what Gary was talking about, Schmalz is a global leader in vacuum. We have over 16,000 products that we're dealing with. Being part of packaging and being a product manager for mostly cups, I get to help innovate and talk to customers on a daily basis to find out what kind of applications and products and what their needs are for packaging, for the different things that they're seeing in their day-to-day operations and what we can do to help them out.
Cool. We're going to hopefully tap into that experience so you can tell us a lot about what the marketplace is looking for. And for that, we'll go to our first question for today, which is consumer packaged goods is such a critical component of PACK EXPO. What sorts of things are customers asking for their grippers, for their vacuum systems today? And what technologies do you guys bring into market to solve those?
Absolutely. We'll start with Gary on this because he's got some interesting comments.
Okay.
Just a real quick thing there.
Yeah.
Consumer packaging is a particular sector of this show because there is primary packaging where you're actually taking the raw product and putting it inside of a bag or a box, and then you're taking it to secondary packaging where that bag or box is put into another, and then you also have tertiary or sometimes where you eventually get to palletizing. Schmalz has different components or different elements of our product group which address the 4 stages of packaging. And it's not just for the consumer. Sometimes it's manufactured packaging going from one manufacturer to another.
Right.
And so we have that. And so that's where we are looking at it. It's what is the right tool for that application, as I said before.
Okay.
Now with that, the product management is, which Will is part of, is supposed to, and they do a good job of it, so I don't want to hint that way, but their role is to always be looking at the marketplace and to say, what is it that we are not doing now that we could do, or what are we doing that we could do better?
So what are a couple of those things, Will?
Sure. And just like everybody else, we are a company, so everything needs to be faster, better, cheaper.
Of course.
So we try to find better ways to manufacture our products. We try to find out what the customer can do to help their application so that they can run faster.
Yep.
So sometimes they're changing their packaging, they're changing the materials. There's a strong push towards going green and being economical and carbon neutral. So that presents a bunch of different issues and difficulties where things that we always used to be able to grab with the same basic rubber cup now is too porous, we start to lose grip. So then we have to go back to the drawing board and think, what can we do to improve this process? So like, this is what everything is going towards now.
Yeah.
So how are we going to grapple with that, and how are we going to make a product that fixes that issue so we can continue taking that product and then presenting something that they're going to use to put in all of their machining so that everybody gets everything that they're ordering. Every food item is getting wrapped correctly and then getting moved along in its process.
I know we're talking about consumer. You just mentioned food, and we're going to talk a lot more about food later, what we're seeing here on the table and over here. But are there any particular applications or families of applications? In terminal automation, we all hear everything around EV, and just battery manufacturing, handling, assembly. So are there a couple of families of applications or verticals that are just exploding, or really offering some exciting opportunities for Schmalz?
Yeah, absolutely. Talking about EVs and battery packing and all the different lead acid batteries or the lithium batteries, we've created a sorry.
No, you're good.
We've created our MBR ESD products, which when handling sensitive products, microchips, they don't damage the workpiece.
Okay.
For example, this is our PSPF packaging cup. It's a dual durometer. So when handling like cellophane or liquid-filled packages or loose-filled packages, what previously was unable to be held, we can now grip and move with a lot of speed.
Gotcha.
So it just comes down to the engineering and the filigree design inside the cup.
Awesome.
Also, with our other products, we want to have everything talking to each other. So we're now including either IO-Link devices or NFC tags, which get embedded with the product. So it makes it so much easier to reorder product, find other additional accessories, get your spares and wares, and link back to the whole sales process.
It's nice that the Internet of Things can actually help us all do
Absolutely.
a little bit more efficient in operations, and spare parts, maintenance, and maybe we'll see some forward-looking maintenance, predictive maintenance aspects out of that down the road too. So I'll look forward to talking maybe more about that with you guys someday in a future episode. You mentioned energy efficiency. When it comes to compressed air systems, they've always been a system where plants are looking to shave energy consumption as much as possible. How is Schmalz responding to that, either on the compressed air or just to help folks kind of control their operational costs? And I don't know if that's a Gary or Will one.
It's about
It is. Let me start with that, though.
Okay.
One of the major things is that Schmalz as an organization has a directive that all new buildings that we're building are to have energy efficiency in mind. Like we just put on a 100,000 square foot facility in Raleigh, and we have it already prepared for solar cells. And our main manufacturing facility in Glatten, Germany, is covered with solar cells. So energy efficiency is something that's very important to Schmalz globally. It's part of our company culture. So looking at the applications, we're always looking for what is the right way to do it. We sell ejectors, which do use compressed air, but we also sell vacuum pumps and blowers, so that if the vacuum hold time is a long time and compressed air does not make sense because it's going to use way too much, then we'll advise the customer that we should go off to a mechanical 24-volt DC pumps, which are used in mobile applications, and then we have the standards. But the key is that it's about the specific application. So that's where we always go, is making sure that we're using the right thing right away.
For that 24 DC, if you're going to talk more about that, Will, should we drift over to the UR?
Sure, absolutely.
Let's go
take a look at our GCPI. So this is our famous pump in a box. It's our 24-volt GCPI, which basically is a membrane pump which uses electricity to create the vacuum needed to power the tool. What also makes it great is the body is 3D manufactured before it gets cold pressed. So that saves a manufacturing weight. So if you're mounting it, it takes less energy to move it around a factory. It also has the intelligence built in, so that if there's any air savings, it only generates the vacuum that it's required to generate. And then you can continuously monitor the process through its vacuum applications and through the reading on the interface.
Very cool. And this is going to be targeting an emerging, ARM on a pedestal, AMR pedestal, more mobile applications, right?
Absolutely, like mobile warehousing, end of line palletizing that can be moved from station to station. And so then you're only tethered by a power cord, and you're not restricted by both a power line and your air lines.
There was a lot of excitement just 2 weeks ago at the AMR Humanoid Robotics Conference that I was at, where a lot of folks were talking about this mobile actuator being able to really fill some gaps in some key assembly applications. So that's super cool.
Yeah.
What you got, Gary?
Along that same lines, I was in a manufacturing plant several years ago, and they were trying to do what this can do with a collaborative robot to do end of line palletizing. And they had 8 lines, but they only ran 3 lines at any one time. So they had one collaborative robot on a mobile stand that they would move. But to do that at the time, since nobody had a pump like this, they had to have airdrops at each line. So that increased their overall cost because they had to put that in. This saves the customer that initial startup cost also.
I got to think there are other benefits too. OSHA compliance, you don't have to worry about running into lines. Your turnover's faster if you're going from line to line. So
certainly. And that's just the vacuum generation. Also on the end of this UR is our PXT lightweight tooling series, which is fully modular, so that you can basically buy a kit. And going towards energy and cost savings, we basically have a system where you can create what you need with just a few set of parts.
Now, was this one you were telling me earlier that used to weigh 4 pounds? You got it down to 1, or?
Correct. Well, it's tooling that would be machined metal or had to be custom built aluminum tooling with lots of different screws, and every time you built the tool, it required different parts. Now it can be done within a system of tooling, and it's very lightweight. Actually, what you're referring to is going to be some of our area grippers, a bar gripper, and then we have an FQE, and then our sack gripper, which we can talk about.
Which actually I wanted to bounce over. I was kind of curious if this sack gripper uses any of this dual material technology, but I'm not sure. Maybe you guys want to explain that a little bit more for it? Or? So what are we looking at here, guys?
So this is our new PSSG, which is a sack gripper technology. The standard sack gripper or plenum on the market is going to be heavy metal, very dense material, or it's going to be aluminum. Usually weighs around 3 to 4 to 5 kg, depending on what's necessary. So that's 14 pounds, 15 pounds. This is only 1.3 kilograms. You go up to 2 if it's got the onboard vacuum generation. This is a smaller version, so it's a little bit lighter. But you have your entire vacuum generation on top of your vacuum support, but it saves you 30%, 50% on what the payload of your robot needs or can do. So now it can either move faster, it takes less energy to actually do the move, or you can increase your payload so that your customers or anybody who's manufacturing can now move more with less energy. Absolutely. Because they can get more done per payload.
It's really cool that EOT is going mobile too. I mean, we think about lightweight robotics, cobot solutions. We think about batteries with higher density so that we can do more missions per charge. And all these parts you guys are talking about are enhancing that.
Absolutely.
Cutting weight, giving more functionality. All right, so I think we're going to start drifting over here, but everyone thinks of Schmalz as being vacuum specialists, right? But you guys have had a very recent announcement that's kind of in a new direction. You want to tell us a little bit about Schmalz Robotics?
It's the M-Grip product, yes.
Okay.
So we'll move over here.
Sure.
And go this way.
Follow you guys. Come on and lead the way.
Okay. I was going to say, I didn't know where it went to. You can see in the background here also that the M-Grip product allows us to get into hygienic applications where in the past, as you can imagine, vacuum has problems. If you were picking up on a protein, whether that be meat, beef, chicken, fish, that vacuum on that type of a surface, you would then transfer the body fluids of the various animals into your vacuum system, which is not a good thing. So we recently purchased the rights to the M-Grip product, and so this allows us to get in and do work similar to a human hand and to be able to pick up products in poultry, beef, baked goods, and other products like that, where touching the product has to be done gently and it has to be done cleanly.
Right.
So this is a wonderful thing. Now, the big key is that initially when you said, that we've been the experts in vacuum technology, this does require a vacuum to open and close the fingers. So the key is for us, understanding the controllers that make this work is native to us.
Gotcha. So typically your involvement in the food packaging and processing was mainly at the packaging line previously, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
We when it came to the primary packaging of food, we had very little contact there. We had some, but not a lot.
Right.
And so with this, it puts us right smack dab in the middle of the beginning of the process.
Okay, all right. So I know, when it comes to food processing, hygiene regulations are so critical, right? And the nice thing with the MGRIP is I think you've pretty much got compliance with everything that you need. But are you looking at, are there other regulations that Schmalz is, in the food industry in particular, where you're trying to make sure, maybe adopt some of your other technologies into it, or how does regulatory compliance come into play?
It's critical to us because in every level of this, the camera can't point across, but we have a full stainless steel lifter that's over there,
Right.
which gets us into the pharmaceutical industry packaging. And so that's something that we were looking at. And so we're looking at all stages of both pharmaceutical and food,
Right.
to say, okay, what do we need to do? What do we need to invent? Or what do we need to acquire to have a full solution available to the customers?
Cool. All right, so you guys have given me a lot of time, and I know there's a lot of customers that we're keeping out of the booth by being annoying and taking up the whole center spot. But was wondering if either of you guys could, or both, could look in your crystal balls a little bit. Do you see anything coming down in terms of gripper technology? And the lightweighting and the AMRs is super exciting. But is there anything else we need to be looking for next 2, 3, 5 years?
I'm going to let Will. Research and development is more his game.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So to that point, around 9% of all the revenue that Schmalz generates goes back into R&D.
Cool.
So if we're talking 5 to 10 years down the road, of course we're going to continue to do vacuum gripper technology. The tools are going to get more complex. We're going to try and incorporate more intelligence. We already do Ethernet, IO-Link, Profinet devices. We have NFC tags. But lift assist and manual handling is still part of what we do.
Mm-hmm.
So we have exoskeletons that we've been working on and developing.
Very exciting.
We're also looking at going into special gripping in the M grip. If we can't pick it up with vacuum, we also have needle grippers, magnet grippers, high flow grippers. And we're looking at a combination to, again, reduce or increase efficiency by using magnet tables like you see in like the shuttle systems, where you can move products so that they can be stored and move quickly through a process so that you only get what you need. But by reducing that friction on the table, you're taking out a lot of the different energies. So it's kind of like the magnetic table gripping.
Sweet.
For the far end of that. And then everything else is we're always continuing to develop new elastomers and push that material science so that now we're going to get high temperature rubbers that don't leave a mark, that are ESD friendly for even more universal applications.
And can still handle that fragile object aspect. Guys, thank you so much for taking your time today. I really appreciate it. You guys got any questions? You've never worked with Schmalz before on raw food processing or handling, you got the opportunity now with the M-Grip. If you're looking for soft packaging and the ability to pick those up at higher and higher payloads, as well as mobile solutions, you've got someone else to talk to. If anybody has any questions for Will and Gary, please just put it right below on LinkedIn or YouTube, wherever you're watching the stream right now. We'll make sure the guys get them right away and get back to you. If you've got any other questions, reach out to us at any time. You can get to us on manufacturing-matters.com, see all of our previous podcasts, or any one of your favorite podcast platforms where Manufacturing Matters is happy to live. So until tomorrow, when we'll do another live session in the afternoon, Gary, Will, thank you so much for giving me your time today, guys.
Thank you.
It's really been a pleasure, and we look forward to more great things from Schmalz.